And welcome to the pre-market rundown, and we're going to talk about a lot of things today as we discuss TriggerCharts and the task indicators, a special edition of the pre-market rundown. Hey, I'm Andrew Horowitz, and thank you so much for joining me today. And each and every week on Fridays, we've had a few things going on, like vacations and Labor Days and things across the board. But we wanted to talk about, specifically because many of you have asked about this, the discussion about the new transition, the idea that we have a new distribution platform for the TriggerCharts indicators that we're doing with candidate commodities and task indicators. Really unbelievable opportunity that we ended up with as the TradeStation trading app store is now being closed. That's their decision. We could talk about that another time. But basically, the great news here now is, and what you need to know is that all the indicators that you have been utilizing through TriggerCharts are now available through a little bit of a different process. We did some enhancement to it, and there's a lot more that are available for the same price that you were paying for the Commander series previously. Now you get many more indicators, better education, more education, additional support, etc. Plus, if you look at the bottom of the screen, we have not only available for TradeStation, yes, that is true, but we also have for MetaTrader and Sierra, and it's coming and available on TradingView, eSignal, NinjaTrader. So pretty much wherever you trade, you can utilize these indicators. So it's no longer simply exclusive to TradeStation, right? We have all these other ones now that we can utilize. So I feel really good about that. I'll explain to you how it's a little bit different in terms of how you install it. And the relationship here is that TriggerCharts and task market profiles use the same exact engine, the calculations, the market profile, the core of what we do is based on volume and price, and Candidate Commodities is bringing this all together by allowing us all to utilize the platform for now sharing and enabling installation for your particular platform. So it's really an exciting situation, and I think that you're going to really enjoy this. Let me just go through a few things here. First of all, if you do want to check out all the ideas and how you can now utilize this on your platform for your trading, you just simply go to TriggerCharts.com, click on anywhere inside of there, you'll find out more information and be taken right to the area that has all the information about this. But here's the thing. So the underlying engine, as I mentioned, the chassis, the calculation, the core principles, everything is what it was, right? We've changed the names a little bit. We've done some enhancements as we've been working on for the last few months, always looking to do some back testing and optimization. And what we have now is a new suite of indicators that have the core components of indicators there, as well as many others, with some changes to the names so that we have consistency across all of our distribution network. So the TriggerCharts radar, you're going to see it as the task market map. You know, you're going to see the altimeter is boxes. So for those of you that like to use autopilot, for example, it's going to be called the Task Vega. But the strategy and the goals, the ideas behind it to eliminate one side of the trade. You know, don't be long if you're below the lower red. Don't be short if you're above the higher resistance green. You know, the unfair high, the unfair low, the point of controls. All those are the same. The coloration is generally the same. A couple of little differences here and there that we thought would clean up our charts a little bit, but generally all that's the same. What we are trying to do is continue with the idea of limiting risk and maximizing reward, because what we have is the overall ability through this, like we've always done, to have a very defined line in the sand, right? We're able to understand where the levels are and the footprints where investors are trading, whether they're going to be a bias towards the long side or they're going to have a bias towards the short side, or if in fact there's nothing to know, right, in there. But what it does is provide you the same concrete, identical, actionable, reliable, high confidence trading mechanisms. These are just 3 of the indicators, by the way. There are many more. I'm going to quickly go through some of the things that we know as core principles behind what we do and why we created this, because traditional indicators have, I would say, downfalls. You look at a chart, doesn't matter the dates, doesn't matter the time. Basically, you have what? Trend lines, right? You can just draw a trend line on there and you say, okay, this trend line or that trend line is an uptrend line, downtrend line. And you could say, well, it then points to maybe some kind of a direction. And maybe we can put some crossing lines on there and say, well, we're in a defined downtrend. But when you think about it for a second, were we in an uptrend here? Well, maybe quite possibly we were when we saw that. Were we in a downtrend? Where? What time? When? And what level will it go to? Where is the exhaustion point? And where are the problems that come up? Because now we just got ourselves totally involved in this downtrend. And wow, you know what? We went and we lost out on that. Now, it did resume after the fact, but you have to look at where you are trapped long at this point, and then you got stuck. So it was a break of the downtrend, but then what happened? Went from 35 down to 27. So again, looking at this is if we look at volume, the old metric of volume was very one-dimensional. It was a very difficult thing to understand if you're looking at a chart. What does it tell us? What do these areas tell us? The idea that we have higher volume on what? A full day's worth of data, that's important. But at what level was it? Because that range may be large. Look at this. Look at this area right here, right? We're looking at this area that we see this big spike in volume, this big spike in price, but where was the core of that? Maybe most of it was in between, in the middle. So where were traders laying down the line? Where were they pushing in the money? Was it at the lower level or the top level? So now what we're looking at here is a situation where we really don't know. We're a little blindsided to what the numbers are because these traditional indicators don't really give us a lot of information. So we can kind of look at this in all sorts of different methods and get mixed signals and lots of charts on top of charts here. Point is, there's too many signals. It's a mess. I mean, we can just keep on writing stuff on a chart. So how do we get beyond that? How do we get beyond this mess that we see on a chart? Do we use Bollinger Bands? Do we use volume on the bottom? What do we RSI? Do we use MACD? There's a lot going on here. Well, we use what's called market profile. It simplifies the whole process so easily, right? What it does is it gives us a way to easily thumb through and look at a chart and say, okay, here is on this time frame, the level that we should be looking at. It's color coded. It gives us inference and information, an exact way of looking at where we should actually be if we desire to do so, put our money to work. And we can use it on multiple time frames, giving us a much more higher level of confidence. All of that combined gives us some great opportunity. I'm going to skip ahead for a second, a slide. I want to show you. These are what the indicators look like. I mean, you're used to this now. Is it not exact? These are just quick screenshots of a few, but you'll notice you see what looks like the aileron is now called the navigator, and you have the autopilot and the altimeter in here, but that's called, boxes and Vega. The same thing here, right? You have the market profile here that's going on. So what we have here is a situation where we have a very similar situation. The radar is now called market map. The altimeter is boxes. But look at this. Here's what's really great. You get more analysis, more choices of what indicators you want to use that all basically have either market profile as the back end, which is what we use, of course, or it's using some kind of oscillator or trending algorithm that we've created, right? So you have even further ways to, I would say, get down and dirty on the actual chart to find out, is there a compression point coming in with the float price compression levels, right? What we have is the ratio, which gives you a better look into where the trend is and what's happening. But beyond that, you have all of these opportunities. You have the Trade Nest, which is an online trading community and chat room that you could use now. Comes along with this part of the bundle for the same price, $147, $2 less, $147 per month. And you get all of these charts, all of these integrations. So you get all the things that you got before. Before, by the way, it was just altimeter, radar, and autopilot, or Vega, and boxes and market map. And that was 149. Now you get the navigator thrown in, which was another 79 or 49, depending on how you bought it. Then you get the last three here, the ratio, the float, and the statics, right? You get the PCLs on top of it. Then you get the trade nest. Pretty cool. On many different charting platforms of your choice. Now, how great is that? All you have to do is go over to TriggerCharts.com, and let me tell you that what you want to do is, just to be clear, the trading app platform, the store from TradeStation, is shutting down. Many of you are using, all of you are using TriggerCharts on that have used TriggerCharts in the past, and any of the indicators that we have. I will tell you that you can wait till the last day of the month if you want to do this. I would suggest there's a little bit of a crossover. There's going to be a little bit more of a money spend, but look at all that you get here. Go over and install it. Go to TriggerCharts.com, click on any of the buttons in there, the links in there, anything will take you right to the area where you can download. There's instructions, there's FAQs, there's videos, and the support that you will get from Candid Commodities. It's all one team now. We're just utilizing and leveraging Candid Commodities. Steve, which will be on the Friday, upcoming Friday. We're going to share the stage with him, if you will. But that is all going to be run by a central distribution platform now. So there's a lot going on here. I do not want you to be confused, concerned, worried. I don't want you to be freaking out. This is pretty easy. If you want to stay on TradeStation, stay on TradeStation. Not a problem. Understand some names will change. Okay. Underlying, all the same. More bang for your buck. A little bit of a process to install, but remember when you installed the TradeStation Trading App Store, TriggerCharts first, it was still a little bit of a process. This is a little bit different. There's an authentication encryption that is installed on your computer to make sure that you are a paying customer, of course. And then what happens is you get all of these, and you have to basically just build a few different workspaces for yourself. We can give you some as well. We'll find out what best suits you. But you have to do this through going through TriggerCharts. You're not going to get this package unless you go through the TriggerCharts.com page, click on the link, and get it, because then it knows that you're coming from us. So make sure to do that, and do that soon. I highly recommend doing this much before the end of the month of September to make sure that you are online. Obviously, what we're talking about is an evergreen discussion, right? But for those of you that are having anxiety over the fact that you're going to lose your beloved TriggerCharts indicators, well, it's something that you need to think about doing quickly. Now, let's just go through this, right? So the altimeter, or boxes now that it's called, is again classifying low risk, higher probability opportunities and giving you stop levels and profit targets. All these things you could see when it's there. You could use this or in conjunction with the market map, which is a great way to get a lot more granular on the overall levels. It also gives you the opportunity of when to add trades. Also says, hey, you know what? We're going in the wrong direction. Maybe this is not a great place to be. It looks the same as you're used to. It looks the same as you used to. 3 lines, sometimes 2, but 3 lines, right? 1, 2, 3. Very easy to understand, right? Right? Here it is. This is what it looks like. Now, there's different ways to set it up and color and all that, but basically, this is what it looks like. So what you get is a defined level of support, resistance. Let's just pick one of these here, right here. We got our support are green, right? Our resistance levels, our breakout points, our point of control, POCs. All these are the same levels, vernacular. Actually, we did a little bit of tweaking to some of the calculation for the swing part of the trade, so they may have a slightly different, a few cents off here or there, depending on the on the position that you use. But basically, all the things that we're using will look the same and very familiar to you, right? So you want to know what if the price is inside the box, outside the box. We could just swap out the name, altimeter versus boxes, right? Catsup, ketchup. All depends on how you want to look at it, right? Potato, potato. So all these are identical. Wider boxes equate to increased volatility, et cetera. You know all about this. We talked about this. Now the radar or the market map that you're used to, again, gives you a much more defined levels if you want to look at that and find exactly where that is and also understand what the shape is, right? We have these directional fast zones that we look at and slow zones are horizontal, or prices that passed horizontally through time are in a consolidation phase, and prices that moves quickly through price is at a directional breakout phase. And we could look at, of course, looking for consolidation patterns and breakouts and all that. Now, again, very much what you're used to seeing. There's an overlay of both the boxes and the market map, or the radar and the altimeter. Again, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same. And what's happening right now is what you're seeing on your chart is different ways of looking at the particular shapes. So we have here is a P, right, on this. You have a B. Let's see if we have, this is a somewhat, I would call it normal distribution. We have an elongated B here. Here's a triple. Any of those that we look at? No, they're all about the same here. Here's a B, right, B. So what we find with the market map is that we have a very similar style of what it looks like here, right? Volume at price and volume at time and areas of interest. Again, the blues are the areas that really haven't seen a lot of volume. As we go up in gradient, put the gradient changes in, you get to yellow, which is the high volume mark right here, right on the lines right here. You get the low bands where there's very little, right, fast moving zones that we see, because right inside of here is purple and blue. And we saw this fast moving zone, right? This move that happened. Let me see if I can just draw over this here, right? This move, because this was purple and a fast moving zone inside of a P. So the P is the area that we'll see some consolidation potentially, but the stalk or the leg of the P is an area we're going to see possible downside movement that's pretty strong. Again, all the same discussion of we had before, these holes, these danger zones, et cetera. Now the autopilot brings us all together, right? We have this algorithm that we programmed to look at directional biases and stop losses, give us profit targets. And of course, I told you I designed this for myself, for me in back when, color coding, because I need to see colors. It makes it easy on my life to understand what exactly is happening. Now, when you use this all together, when you combine the market map and boxes and the algorithms that we have across the board, and utilizing not only Vega and boxes, not only looking at those, but the PCLs, the statics, and all the components of this package, inclusive of navigator and trenders, and you have all of what you need to trade like you did before, but even more. Now, some of you may say, well, I don't want all these. My gosh, they get me confused. Some of you say, oh my gosh, this is great. I love to have multiple confirmations. Put on what you want on the chart. Don't put on what you want on the chart. Have your charts set up like you like to look at it all the time, then have another workspace, another set of charts that puts the other areas on that you look at and you glance at to get confirmations. The research capability and the opportunity to analyze charts with this package is unsurpassed. I'm really proud of what we put together here, and I think you're really going to get a big bang in your overall trading opportunity. So let's look at this crazy chart that's swinging around there. Basically, you have a few things. Now, there's going to be some changes to Vega coming up when you install. We're not going to have the yellows anymore. It's going to go right to the direction in, because you'll see that popping, of course. But everything else is the same, okay? The green, just wipe out this yellow right now. We just updated that. Red, orange, magenta, okay, stops and things like that. Again, it's just the automation of all this. So basically, what we're seeing here is a situation where, let's go back, let's kind of scoop it back up, all the way back up somewhere. I have to really go far to get to where I want to go. What's happening? No, that's not what I want. That's not what here we go. Okay, so guess I'm not going to see what I want. Let's go back here. All right, so basically what you have now is a full, complete overview of what we have available. The bottom line here is that when we look at the components, right? When we look at the components, they're the same. When we look at the various individuals' ways to look at things, right? They're the same. They're just different names, right? They're just different names. And there's a lot more. The bottom line, if you really look at this package, it's pretty amazing. Now, am I pushing you, selling you, and all that? Yeah, I am. Of course I am, because I know how much you love this, and I want to make sure there's no weirdness, no freaking out, no worrying. Trigger charts and task indicators through Steve Dahl, myself, our companies teamed up because of a variety of reasons. One, we know that we had this created many years ago. We worked together many years ago on this. We were exclusive on TradeStation for this, and now we said, you know what, TradeStation is shutting down. How about we get together and put this all together so that our clients can actually continue using this? TriggerCharts.com is the place to actually get all this, utilize the power, the functionality of all of these. And not only, again, are you going to get what we had before. Remember, before, what do we have? We had we had the radar, right, which was the market map. We had the altimeter boxes. We have the Vega, which autopilot, and we had Aileron. But Aileron was separate. You only got 3 of these, and we had a multi-time frame. But now, better than a multi-time frame, you're getting the trade nest, online community and chat room, and you're getting a variety of other indicators to go along with it, right? We have them here. So $147 is what it is. Go over to TriggerCharts.com, check it out. So there's all sorts of other things. Now, I didn't mention something I think is really important, because a lot of you have a thirst for learning. You come here every Friday and we talk about what's going on in the markets. We talk about what's happening, what's moving things, the stocks, the futures, the cryptocurrencies, what's happening, what's moving, what's going on. You like to learn, you like to understand, you need to learn and get that education to sharpen your saw, to make sure that you are doing what you can to make sure that you are the best trader possible. And through Candid Commodities and through this relationship, there are all sorts of educational opportunities. There are live webinars, again, an online trading community. There are chat rooms. There's even in-person training that goes on. And that's going to be available to you throughout your relationship. So the support that you'll get is expanded. The opportunities for education are really limitless. The benefit you get of the Trade Nest, which is an online trading community and chat room, as part of this is pretty cool. So you'll be able to actually talk with people and have professionals with you on a regular basis whenever you decide to log in. And then on top of it, gaining 7 indicators. I'm not going to go on and tell you, oh, it's such a great price. It is, whatever it is. You're getting a discount. You're getting a 25% loyalty discount. So it's usually a bit more expensive, but we made sure to keep the price down. So like I said, I wouldn't wait till the last minute. I think that would be a little bit cumbersome on your part. You probably have to get used to a few things, install it, make sure it works, make sure you like it, your settings are right, and give the opportunity to spend some time with the support desk to understand how you want to look and feel, a little bit more customization, because it's, well, more setup, I should say, because there's a lot more to this package. So check that out. Go over to TriggerCharts.com. and make sure to do that. Now, we're going to have a lot more of a discussion related to some of this next week, particularly related to the area of TradingView. A lot of people like TradingView. You can actually trade through TradingView to your various brokers. My preference is still TradeStation. I think it's one of the best platforms for what we do, but it's definitely out there for you. So we're going to end it right there. I think that gives you all the information you need. Again, TriggerCharts.com. I'll make sure to highlight that again for you. You can go there and make sure to check out all that there is available. But that is your gateway to getting this special package and to making sure that you have the continuation of the TriggerCharts indicators that you love available on whatever platform now that you choose to be. So definitely head over to TriggerCharts.com and make sure to get that going before the trading app store shuts down. And the reason why I keep on pounding the desk about this is because there is a hard stop at the end of this month that the TradeStation trading app store is shutting down, and you will lose forever all of your indicators. They just won't be able to be accessed. So TriggerCharts.com. Listen, we're going to end it right there. Thank you so much for joining me this week, and every week we'll have a lot more insights and continue on with our Friday morning. But this was a special edition of the TriggerCharts pre-market rundown to really introduce the task indicators to you and make sure that you understand how you get such an incredible benefit from all of this. Thanks so much for joining me and being there and your loyalty. I'll see you again next week.